And here we go. Actually, yeah. Okay guys, so this question here, okay, is the diameters of Venus and Saturn are, just 2b part 1, the diameters of Venus and Saturn are 2.12 by 10 to the 4 by 2.21 by 10 to the 5 kilometers. What's differences in diameters between the two planets, okay? Now there's one way of doing this, is you just go to your calculator, 1.21 10 to the 5, where's 10 to the 5 button, there it is there, 121,000, alright, and then what's the other one then? The other one's going to be 12,100, okay, and then when we take them away from each other we're going to get 107,900. Now, what does scientific notation mean? Right. So, guys, what we're trying to find out is how many times do we need to divide this by 10 until it becomes a number between 1 and 10. Okay. Now, ready? Okay. So we have it there. Divided by 10. That's 1. All right. Answer divided by 10. That's 2, 3, 4. One more, 5. You have to divide it 5 times by 10 to bring that number between 1 and 10. So that means it's going to be 1.079. What's it? 1.079 by 10 to the 5. Okay? Now guys, what I told you there's a much easier way of doing it that requires you just to remember off a calculator function. Would you like to know that way? Alright, some of you are saying yes. Here's what you do. You go to Shift, you press Setup, and see this one here? Science mode. Press 7. Press 0. Then all what you do is enter in the question, 1.21, what's that, 10 to the 5, e to the 5, minus 1.21 e to the 4, and look what happens now. It's already done. 1.089 10 to the 5. Now the problem is that's much easier, but
1.07.
oh sorry, yeah sorry, that's meant to be an 8, sorry, 8 9 by 10 to 5. Yeah, that's an 8, that's an 8, sorry, not a 7. Okay, so what we get here is this here. So which way do you think is easier, first way or second way? Second way. Now the problem with the second way is you'll go to another question and you'll start going, oh, 2 plus 3, and you'll go, oops, what's this about? So you gotta go back to setup, shift, setup, and you'll have to go to normal and press normal 1, and then you're back to your usual calculator mode, okay? That's important that you practice that. Alright, next one. One of the most difficult questions in the test was answered very well, because we did it. We practiced them. Right, so most of you actually got them out. Okay? So it's root 3 by 27 divided by 3 squared. Okay? Now, let's say for instance, we're going to do this the way I taught you, right? 3 to the power of a half, 327 it is, 3 cubed, and the bottom here is 3 squared. What's the rule for the top one? Owen, what you do for this here?
Multiply the minus.
You add them. So 3 plus a half, alright, which is the same thing as 7 over 2. And what you do next with 3 and 7 over 2 divided by 3 power 2?
Minus 2.
You minus 2, so 7.5 minus 2? So, sorry, 7 over 2 minus 2. Anybody? 3 over 2. We're now going to come up with a backup plan. This is how you get full marks. I'm going to show you a way that if you really get brain freeze and can't do it, you might pick up something as opposed to nothing, okay? Now what you could do is you could go to your calculator and hope you hit lucky, as in the answer comes out reasonably nice, okay? So you can do here is root 3 by 27, 27 root 3 divided by 3 squared. Now if you do that on your calculator, you get 3 root 3. Okay? Then what is root 3 again? 3 to the power what? A half. Now what do I do with the two of these? I add them together and I get 3 to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, next question is basically by rounding off to the nearest whole number, find the value of this. Okay, so the value we're trying to figure out is root 7.17 squared plus 14.59 all divided by 8.29 minus 6.14 multiplied by 2.23. Okay, let's round this off. Okay, so we're going to get 7 squared plus 15 all divided by 8 minus 2 multiplied by 2. Now at this point, lads, if you forget if you should subtract, do you subtract or multiply first?
Multiply.
You seem certain. How did you know that? How did you know that you're meant to multiply first? Do you know, Greg? Bondas. Brackets, anything that's in brackets gets done. Operations, anything with squares, okay, and square roots. Obviously, you're going to square root, you're going to add them first because it's in the square root, then square root it. After that, it's multiplication and division. And after that, it's addition and subtraction. Multiplication comes before subtraction. But here's the good thing. Can I not just do that with a calculator at this stage?
You do the first part of the calculator.
I can do it. But I was asked to round it off first.
Oh.
Okay, and then the next part I'm just going to do it all by calculator. But this part here, can I not just do this? Root 7 squared. Now, I made a mistake there. I need to press the fraction button at the start. Okay, root 7 squared plus 15 divided by 8 minus 2 multiplied by 2, and we get the answer is 2. So a lot of you might have made a mistake here, even though there was no need to put yourself in danger of making the mistake. Okay. Now, as for this, if you do it manually, it's going to be 49 plus 15 gives you root 64. On the bottom, we're going to have 8 minus 4. Then we're going to get 8 divided by 4, and that equals 2. Same thing. Okay. Next part is we're just going to put it all into the calculator. I'm just going to keep what I have already because it's more or less the same thing. 0.17 squared. Use your brackets just to be sure. Plus 14.69. And then we're going to divide it by 8.29. Take away 1.64. Multiply by 2.23. Okay. And we get 1.754, which rounds up to 1.8. So we're going to get 1.8 for that. Okay. Happy enough? Now, the next question, because it was, what was that word? It was on technically a chapter that wasn't meant to be coming up, right? Yeah? Everybody agree with that? If you did well in it, I gave it to you. If you didn't do well in it, I didn't give it to you. So you basically benefited from it. Either you had no effect on your test, or you did better because of it. Okay, one or the other. Now, what happens here is €630. It says Una and Connor were travelling to South Africa. They bought 5,060 rands in the bank. The bank charged them €630 for this much rand. This included a 5% service charge. Okay? So this means that 630 is the same thing as 105%. It's 100% of the money you got. You didn't get all your money, but the money you have to spend, this money here is the equivalent of 100%. So if you say 100% of your money is 5,760, this means that including the 5% charge, you paid €630 for that. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 105 and multiply by 100. So we're going to find out what 100% is in terms of euro. You divide by 105 and multiply by 100, you get 600. 600 is the same thing as 600 euro is the same thing as 5,760 rand. Okay? How do I find out what the conversion rate is? Can anybody tell me? Divide by. How do I find out what €1 is? If 600 euro is this much, how do I find out what €1 is? Divide by 600. And when you divide it by 600, you get, anybody? Which is, in decimals?
9.6.
9.6. 9.6. €1 gets you 9.6 rand. Okay. Now, next question. I'll just do it on the bottom of what I just did there a second ago, okay? Now, next question is, Owen has set up a business making combination locks, okay? So he's making up combination locks. And he goes with 3 dials, okay? His unique selling point is that instead of having numbers, you can choose the design you want on each dial. On the first dial there are 6 design options. Second dial there's 8 options. Owen tells his customers that they have 384 combinations. So here's what happens. You have 8 in the first one, 6 in the second one, C amount in the third one, and you have 384 combinations in total. What does that mean about the last option? It's going to be 48 8 multiplied by 6 is 48. You can have 48 different codes and multiply by the number of codes in the third one. That equals 384. If you divide 384 by 48, you find out what C is. So what is C? 8. There's 8 different codes in the last one. Okay? Now that's done. Next part is B. When Owen receives the locks from his supplier, he discovers that the first dial only has space for 5. The second dial only has 7 designs. The third dial remains the same, which is 8. How many designs is he allowed now? How many different combinations can you have now? 280, because you multiply 5 by 7 by 8 and you get 280. Okay. Next one. This one, now this should have been 20 out of 20 for pretty much everybody here, but it just didn't go that way, okay? Question 5. Now, what you have here is Kieran leaves work in the city centre. Kira leaves work in the city centre. She travels home to Cashel every Friday. Over a period of 6 months, she records whether she leaves for Cashel immediately after work or not, or if she stops on the coffee on the way home. So basically, she leaves and she has 2 choices. She has coffee or no coffee. Okay? So you can write that up here. Coffee, no coffee. Now, to get full marks, what you need to do for the most part is you need to write down what is her, actually I'm going to do that the other way around because I have it done here the other way around. So we're going to do no coffee and coffee. Or immediately and not immediately, whatever you want, okay? So, if she leaves immediately, it's a third. If she doesn't leave immediately, it has to be 2/3. 1 out of 3 times she doesn't go for coffee. 2 out of 3 times she does go for coffee. Now she's on the road home and oh sorry. Ugh. Excuse me. The first option is not coffee. It's immediately or not immediately. Excuse me. Okay. So there's a 1 in 3 chance of leaving immediately, and there's a 2 in 3 chance of not immediately. Is that alright? Now, there's your next choice. Your next choice after this is you're on the road and you're deciding whether or not to stop for coffee. Okay? Up here will be coffee, and the other option is no coffee. Now, what happens here is we got to put down our probability. You have a 1 in 5 chance of stopping for coffee. Oh yeah. Okay. Now, if you leave immediately from work, do you got it? If you leave immediately from work, your chances for stopping on for a coffee is 1 in 5. Yeah? 1 in 5. Therefore, your chances of, when you leave immediately, your chances of not getting a coffee must be 4 in 5. If you leave work not immediately, your chances of stopping for a coffee are 1 in 4, because it says it in the question. Therefore, your chances of not getting a coffee must be 3 in 4. Now let's do all your options. When you add them all together, they should all add up to 1, because you have a 100% chance of making it back to Cashel, and all the different options add up to how much percentage of the time you actually stop for a coffee or leave immediately. So, for example, if you leave immediately, you have a 1 in 3 chance. Then what's your chance of stopping for a coffee? 1 in 5. So what's 1 in 3 multiplied by 1 in 5? 1 over 3 by 1 over 5? Anybody?
1 over 15.
1 over 15. The next one's going to be 1 over 3 by 4 and 5, which is?
4 over 15.
4 over 15. 2 out of 3 by 1 and 4?
2 out of 12.
Which is? 6th. And finally, 2 over 3 multiplied by 3 out of 4, which is?
Half.
A half. Now guys, if I add up all these together, what do you think they have to add up to?
1.
1. Because percentages, these are all percentages, and 1 as a percentage, 100% as a number is 1. 1 is 100%. A half is 50%. So let's check if they all add up to 1. Let's figure this out. 1 in 15 plus, what is it, 4 in 15 plus 1 in 6. Okay, no, just got that wrong there. Delete 1 in 6, and then finally plus a half, 1 in 2, and it adds up to 1. Okay, so we know we're correct there. Okay, that's for full marks there. Went up 5, 10, 15, 20, depending on how much you had done. Okay, number 5. Oh, sorry, number 6. Question 6. We have a circle, and the circle the circle has a angle of 120 and a radius of 11. Okay, 1. Find correct nearest centimetre squared the area of a disc. The formula in your tables is angle divided by 360 multiplied by its area, right? So it's going to be pi r squared. We're going to do 120 divided by 360. Oh wait, sorry, excuse me. The marking scheme has them mixed up, so that's why I'm doing the second part first. Sorry guys, it's simply pi r squared, isn't it? So pi r squared is going to be, we're taking pi as just pi, so pi times, pi multiplied by 11 squared. What's pi times 11 squared?
121 pi.
Which is 380.1327,
1327.
which is 13, and round off to the nearest centimetre, 380. Now, what I was talking about for the second part is theta divided by 360 multiplied by pi r squared. Okay, what's the angle we're talking about here for the shaded region? Shaded region was 120. 120 divided by 360 multiplied by, what's pi r squared? We already have it. 380. And the answer we should get is 127 centimeters squared, or 126.7 before you round it up. Okay. Next thing, we have a cylinder. Okay, and the cylinder like shown. Okay, there's the cylinder. Now, what happens to the cylinder? It gets a semicircular chunk cut out, doesn't it? So, what happens is a semicircular part, or sorry, a hemisphere is cut out from it. Okay? So it goes, find its curved surface area in terms of pi. You go to your notes and you see a cylinder and you have two choices. Your first choice is phi equals pi r squared h. Your second choice is 2 pi r h. Which one do you take for surface area? A or B? A. What does this not include on the cylinder?
The dip.
It doesn't include the circle on the bottom or the circle that would usually be on the top. Also doesn't include the dip, because the height of the cylinder is still the same. It just has a dip on top. Okay? So with that in mind, what we're going to do is we're just going to use this formula here. A equals 2 pi r h. What's the radius? It has a diameter of 14 and a height of 20. That's given. So 7, yeah? 2 pi times 7 times 20. It wants it kept in terms of pi. 280 centimeters squared. Next part. The hemisphere is then removed from the top of the cylinder, as shown. Find the total surface area of the remaining solid in terms of pi. Okay? To pick up marks, what did we leave out the first time? We left out the circle on the bottom. So we have to do pi r squared, don't we? Yeah. What about the red region? Here. Now remember, it's only hollow on the inside, not the outside. The outside is still a can, but there's like a little scoop. It's like taking out a scoop of ice cream. Okay, the outside of the ice cream container is still as tall as ever, but the inside has been dipped into. Okay, so what can we say about this red area? What size is the red area again? Can anybody tell me? The red area is 280 pi. Now that brings us to the hard part of the question. What do you do about the semicircle? Okay? Now, first question I've got to ask you is, right, if we have a full sphere, okay? Full sphere, and I wonder if it works. Not bad. Okay? First of all, the area of a full sphere is what? 4 pi r squared. Okay? Now, What is the area of a yeah, got it. Alright. Now, what is the surface area of the hemisphere when we cut it in half? So if I get rid of this, what?
It's half.
A half of that. Alright? And this does the blue part. Okay? Should we worry about the the top part?
No.
Why not?
Because
It's hollow, isn't it? It's not solid. So the top part doesn't count. So it's just 2 pi r squared. Now there's something you gotta realise, guys. Do you know when you cut open a soccer ball, the outside blue area is the same size as the inside blue area. Likewise, if I was to cut the red area, when I open up the soccer ball, it's the same amount of material on the inside as the outside. Okay? So what we're going to do next is we're going to add on another 2 pi r squared. Now we're going to put in our numbers. So what is it going to be, guys? It's pi times, what's the radius again? Radius? 7 squared plus 280 pi plus 2 pi times 7 squared. Add it all together, what do we get? 427 pi centimeters squared. Okay, next one. Where do I have any cone shapes here? It appears not. Okay, make my own cone. No. Okay, let's try this one now. There we go, there's a cone, okay? Now, this cone has a height of 3x and a radius of x. So the height is 3x and the radius is x. Find the volume in terms of pi and x. Volume of a cone, guys, a third pi r squared h. A third pi multiplied by x squared multiplied by 3x. What's x squared times 3x? Anybody? X squared times 3x. You guys do this in your sleep usually.
3x cubed.
Thank you. 3x cubed. What's a third of 3x cubed?
3x.
No, a third. You have x cubes. You have 3 of them. What happens if you only want a third of that? Plus x cubed, isn't it? So it's going to be x cubed, and don't forget your pi. The answer is pi x cubed. Okay? Now, a second cone has twice the radius and half the height of the first cone. What's twice the radius? 2x. You're making it shorter and wider. And what's the new height? The new height is 1.5x because it's half the height. Okay? So what we're going to get here is we're going to get a third pi r squared h. It's going to be a third pi. Our radius is 2x to be squared and our height is 1.5x. Let's look at it here. We're going to get a third. What's 2x squared? Anybody? 4x squared. What's 4x squared multiplied by 1.5x? Or does 4 multiply by 1.5? Huh? 6x cubed. What's a third of 6? 1/3 of 6?
2.
2 pi x cubed. The volume of the second one is 2 pi x cubed. The volume of the first one is pi x cubed. How much bigger is the second one than the first one? Twice as big. Ratio is 2.1. Okay. The next one is a... Yeah, we should be able to get this done. This is the last one of today. Now, you got lucky with, somebody's got lucky with the marking on this from Blunt, because I didn't go over reflex angles with you. I went easy. Okay, so here's what happens. What do all of these angles, when added together, what do they have to give you? They have to give you 360. So when I add all these together, I must get 360. So I'm going to have 7x minus 8 plus 5x plus 8 plus 3x minus 5 plus 10x minus 10, all equals 360. Add them all together and we get 25 x's when we add the x's together. And then when we add the regular numbers together, minus 8 plus 8 cancel. And then we're going to get minus 5 minus 10, which is minus 15, equals 360. Bring the 15 over the other side, what happens? 25x equals 375. X therefore is 15. Now, what you guys didn't realise is, do you see the way Mosey's got this angle here? Mosey's got this one here. And you've got it as 7 times 15 minus 8. What's 7 times 15 minus 8? 97 degrees. Is 97 degrees a reflex angle?
Yes.
It's not. Reflex angles are over 180 degrees. You got the wrong angle. You're looking to get this angle here, the outside angle. So all you gotta do is take 97 from 360, and what do you get? One person got it. He's obviously not awake now, so we'll do it ourselves. 360 minus 97, 263 degrees. Okay.